So good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Gift for Good webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Lauren, Charity Engagement Manager. I'm sure many of you will know, and it's great to see so many familiar names, maybe not faces, but names this morning. I'm joined today by my fellow Charity Engagement Manager, Kim. Hello. Do let us know who's here in the chat box, as you already have done, and please feel free to utilise the Q&A function to ask any questions that spring to mind throughout the session. Kim will be on hand to help collate these, and we'll come back to them at the end and hopefully be able to answer as many of those as possible. Just to let you know that we will be recording today's session, and it will be sent out later this week, so you can watch it back and share it with your colleagues. Now, you don't need me to tell you that this year has had and continues to have its challenges, but hopefully you'll be relieved to hear that this isn't a doom and gloom webinar. Our MD, Veronica, who's here this morning, went to a conference last week and heard the quote, "Action is the best antidote for despair," and it really resonated with me. We might not be feeling positive at the moment, but we want to feel prepared, right? So let's carry this sentiment with us and focus on actionable takeaways that we can use to feel more empowered and a little more hopeful. Making Christmas magical is important to so many of us, but as we all know, this year things are a little different. More than ever, we know that your supporters need choice and control over how and what they donate. So let's make sure that's exactly what they have. I can't quite believe it myself, but there's just 68 days until Christmas. The organised among us may have already begun their Christmas shopping, or maybe like me, the reality that Christmas is actually coming is a little bit of a shock to the system this morning, so apologies if that's the case. Either way, something I'm sure we can all agree on is that the spending power at Christmas is huge. And for a large proportion of the nation's 5.8 million small businesses, Christmas is the time when sales peak. Just think about Black Friday and Cyber Monday spending sprees, two of the biggest shopping days in the UK. According to Sales Cycle, consumers in the UK alone were found to have spent a total of £9.4 billion British pounds over the course of the Black Friday weekend in 2021, of which online sales accounted for over 61%. But with the purse strings pulled tighter than ever, we're all going to be looking for enlightened ways to spend our cash this Christmas. That's why we've launched Gift for Good, a selection of fundraising resources created specifically to help you connect with businesses, offering them a flexible, manageable and festive way to fundraise through their sales this Christmas. So let's kick off with a poll to see how many of you encourage sales fundraising, or as you may know it, cause-related marketing, within your current fundraising offerings. So Kim's going to kindly pop up a little poll. We've got yes, no, and not sure as your options. So let us know whether you're currently encouraging sales fundraising in your fundraising offerings or not.
Okay, great. Lots of people. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Thank you for your speedy responses. I'll give you. Okay, lovely. Give you a couple more seconds. Right, I think that's everyone. Fantastic, thanks guys. So we have, let me just share those results with you. Hopefully everyone can see that. Can you see that, Lauren?
I can, yes.
You can.
Brilliant. Fantastic to see. So we've got 33% saying yes, they do. That's excellent to see. 44% saying no, and 23% saying not sure. Okay, thank you very much. That's really, really helpful. So with spending and donating habits set to change, this year supporters will be looking for low-risk ways to fundraise for the causes they care about in a way that works for them. And sales fundraising is a fantastic way for businesses to do just this, as they are only committed to donating what they have raised in relation to what they sell. And for every sale they do make, there's a donation to charity. So it's win-win all round. With 82% of consumers now saying they shop with purpose in mind, sales fundraising is the perfect way for businesses to make a difference, stand out from the crowd, and raise funds in an achievable and sustainable way. So make sure you're giving your supporters this opportunity. I'm sure many of you will have your Christmas appeals and campaigns lined up and ready to go, so you'll be pleased to hear that there's no need for you to create a separate campaign to engage businesses to give this Christmas. That's because their motivations for giving are very similar to that of an individual donor: emotional connection, shared values, and a desire to give back. So you can simply use and adapt your existing Christmas campaigns to engage them with a festive fundraising ask. We've got you covered with specific tips and templates to help you engage your business supporters and drive donations this Christmas. From business-friendly terminology to simple but effective messaging, you can and must ensure that businesses have a seat at your Christmas table this year. And one charity that's doing exactly that is the Bendrig Trust, whose fundraising coordinator, Louise, who I believe is with us today, is hosting a virtual Christmas fair with many sellers choosing to donate a percentage of their sales to the Bendrig Trust via Work for Good. And as Louise says, imagine buying from small businesses that do a dance every time they get a sale and supporting our fantastic work. Now that's how you give for good. And surely Christmas shopping doesn't get better than that. So to help inspire you and your potential supporters, here are some suggestions of ways that you could ask businesses to fundraise through their sales and encourage their customers to give for good this Christmas. A restaurant or pub could donate 2% for every Christmas lunch or dinner booking they have. A florist could donate a percentage of the sale of each Christmas wreath that they sell. A beautician during November or December could fundraise by donating £2 from every manicure. Or a deli could donate £3 from every Christmas hamper sold. Or a dog walking company could donate 2% of their sales from their December walks. You get the idea. So let's see this in practice. We're already seeing a surge in businesses getting their Christmas sales fundraising campaigns ready, which is amazing, humbling, and inspiring considering the current climate. And here's just a few examples. Sip Sip Wine are donating 10% of sales from their Christmas wine unwrapped boxes to the Girls Network. Rather Good Art are donating 5% of every sale of their Christmas card packs to Shelter. And Mish Made Me, who makes these gorgeous personalised letters to Father Christmas, are donating 10% of every sale to Make-A-Wish UK. As you can see, there really are so many ways for businesses to get involved and so many reasons why businesses can and want to make an impact through their sales this Christmas. But don't just take my word for it. We recently asked over 100 businesses if they were planning to fundraise for a charity through their sales this Christmas. So what percentage do you think said yes? So we're going to do another quick poll now. So just let us know what you think the answer was. So you've got the option of 42%, 52% or 62%. So cast your votes now.
Great, love. Very speedy again. Thanks to everyone. Okay. Lots of answers coming in. Interesting. It keeps going up and down. Okay, I think that is pretty much everyone. That was very quick. Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, so the results that you guys have submitted are, so we've got 40% think 42%, 45% of you think 52%, and 15% of you think 62%. That's a lot of percentages. Okay, so what do we find? We found that 62% of businesses said yes to planning to fundraise for charity through their sales this Christmas. Now, this tells us two things. One, that the majority of these businesses have already set this fantastic intention of fundraising in this way, so they now need charities to enable them to do so. And two, it tells us that they are planning it now. There's never been a better time to start these conversations, engage this audience, and embrace the power of sales fundraising. And a further 28% responded to say they were still undecided, which demonstrates an opportunity for fundraisers to encourage and inspire businesses who may well be unsure about how and what to give this Christmas. It might be that the business would like to support your charity, but they just haven't considered exactly what they could do just yet. Or they might need a compelling reason to do so and a targeted ask to convert them to that yes. So now is the time to make those asks. And thinking back to that increased propensity for both spending and donating that we typically see around Christmas time, We also asked businesses if they would use specific dates to help raise awareness of their sales fundraising this Christmas. We found that 18% of businesses planned to use Black Friday and Cyber Monday, 20% said they would use Giving Tuesday, and 34% would use Small Business Saturday to help them raise awareness of their campaign. So with businesses leaning on the above dates to help amplify their sales fundraising campaign and in turn also boosting your brand awareness, it's clear that businesses are keen to get their campaigns heard and raise valuable income for their chosen cause. So with this in mind, we've compiled our top 5 tips to help you engage your small business supporters. So head over to the resources to check those out. And spoiler alert, key shopping days are in there. So get thinking about how you could utilise these shopping days and turn them into fundraising days too. Next up, we asked businesses which causes they think are most important for them to support in the run-up to Christmas 2022. And here's a list of the most popular responses. Whilst there's a real spread of valuable causes that businesses consider important to support, what's apparent is that many, along with lots of other support groups right now, are focused on fundraising for those causes which are front and centre of people's minds, such as UK poverty and homelessness. However, we can also see that businesses are still feeling compelled to support causes they personally care about, such as physical illness and animal charities. Overall, what this tells us is that supporters are being inspired to fundraise this Christmas for those causes which are relevant and topical and those that are close to their homes and hearts. And to validate this, we asked businesses what motivates them to specifically fundraise through their sales. And here's what we found. 63% of businesses said that supporting a cause that aligns with their business values was their motivation. This demonstrates a clear passion from businesses to highlight to their customers and consumers what they stand for. And it also drives home the importance of shared purpose and synergy for charities to consider when looking for businesses to engage with a sales fundraising ask. 39% of businesses said that their motivation was supporting local charities that are part of their community. Oh, sorry, Kim.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, I think maybe you might need to go forward a slide. Is that? Oh, I might be wrong, but I think that might be okay. Oh, no, sorry, my mistake. Carry on.
Okay. So 39% of businesses said that their motivation was supporting local charities that are part of their community. Again, building on this picture that businesses, just like other supporters, want to feel that they can make an impact. And let's not forget about the brand awareness that they'll be raising within these communities amongst their customers and consumers, helping to amplify the message of your vital cause. 34% of businesses said that someone in their team having a personal connection with the charity was their motivation for fundraising through their sales, which ties back to the earlier point around businesses being similarly motivated to individuals, with emotional and personal connections playing their part in influencing those fundraising decisions. So if that's the case, could you consider exploring your existing database of supporters or beneficiaries to help identify if they or someone they know runs a business and would like to fundraise through their sales? And 26% of businesses said that a particular charity campaign was their motivation for fundraising in this way. So let's make sure that your 2022 Christmas campaigns are ready to engage businesses and inspire them to give to your cause. There's really never been a more important time for charities to open their doors to businesses and welcome their sustainable sales fundraising support this Christmas and beyond, because remember, small businesses are for life, not just for Christmas. What's clear to see is that people want to give, and through their sales, they have the ability to do so. So you need to be asking. As I said at the beginning, action is the best antidote for despair. And this goes for your supporters too. So make sure that sales fundraising is your call to action for businesses this Christmas. Inspire them and their customers to gift for good, to help make a difference and provide hope for the future. Information and all of the gift for good resources can be found on our website. Kim is going to pop the link into the chat box now, or alternatively, you can grab it from the screen here. So please do take a look and lean on these tips and templates to really help you connect with businesses to offer them a flexible, manageable and effective way of fundraising this year. All Work for Good members who signed up to hear from us will receive further tips and inspiration, so please keep an eye out for our Gift for Good email comms over the coming weeks. And if you're not already a member and are interested in signing up to Work for Good, then you can book a demo and a chat with the lovely Kim via the link that she's also going to just pop in the chat box for us now. So, time for questions. We'll try and get through as many questions as we've got. Kim's been keeping an eye on the box for us. So yeah, fire away, Kim.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you so much for talking through all of that. We do have some questions, which is fab. Thank you everyone for submitting them. I've got some in the Q&A and some in the chat box, but let me just start with one. Maybe this is a great starter, I think, just for anyone who is less familiar with what we do at Work for Good. Someone is asking and mentioning that they are kind of we mentioned CRM, so cause-related marketing, and so they're a little bit new to cause-related marketing. So would we be able to just quickly explain what it means and how Work for Good can help? Would that be okay, Lauren?
Yeah, absolutely. So cause-related marketing, or as we refer to it at Work for Good, sales fundraising, is effectively when a business is fundraising for a charity and they are doing so through the sales of their products or services. So that could be a percentage donation, or it could be a fixed pound. So it could be, for example, £5 from every t-shirt sold is being donated to a charity, or it could be 10% of every invoice that they raise is being donated to charity. So effectively, sales fundraising is whenever a business is fundraising through the sales of their products or services. And the way in which Work for Good supports that is by digitalising the commercial participation agreement, or CPA, which is the legal requirement according to charity law, which is needed whenever a business is fundraising in this way. So we help to kind of streamline that process and make it achievable for businesses of any size to be able to fundraise in this way.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, please, any further questions on that, please pop them in the chat and we'll try and get to them. Someone has also asked, how long does it take a business to register with Work for Good and set up their agreement? If our mailing arrived mid-November, is there still time for them to support us through Work for Good in December?
Yeah, absolutely. So it takes just a couple of minutes for the business to actually register and create their account, and then to be able to complete the agreement form to create that commercial participation agreement between themselves and you as the charity that's benefiting. So there's absolutely definitely time. And actually one of the real benefits of Work for Good and the ability to fundraise through sales is that the business can choose what time frame that looks like. So for example, the business might choose that they only want to fundraise for the first week of December. It might be that they want to fundraise specifically around Small Business Saturday, or it could be that they want to do it for the whole month of December or beyond into 2023. So it's really a case of kind of letting the business decide what works for them. But yes, there's absolutely definitely time for you to do so based on that November mailing.
Yeah, absolutely. Flexibility is key here, isn't it?
Definitely.
I've got a question from Natalie in the chat box. She said, for a small charity, this can seem daunting as there are quite a few legal agreements that need to be put in place around CRMs. So hopefully we've kind of answered where our part in that, Natalie. But she's also asked, do you have any advice on having these conversations with smaller businesses without it seeming overwhelming or difficult to set up?
Yeah, definitely. We've got within the kind of separate toolkit, so this is our kind of Gift for Good Christmas specific resources, but we've got also a toolkit for charities which is available for all of our members and available on our website too. Within there we've got lots of different templates, specifically ones that help to explain to businesses why you need the agreements. And actually I think a big part of it is around education, so explaining to businesses that this is necessary, not obviously making it sound like something that's really scary and daunting, but actually by stewarding them through via Work for Good, it's a case of actually really simplifying that and still enabling them to be able to fundraise in this way and removing some of those barriers that they might typically face if they were trying to set up an agreement in-house with you.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. So Sukhvinder has asked, how do we make the ask? What kind of key materials should you share with a small business, and what agreements should be in place? Again, hopefully we've sort of answered that, but it might be good just to run through that as well.
Yeah, so in terms of kind of what asks you can make to the businesses, again, because of how flexible it is, there's obviously a whole wealth of opportunities that you could present to businesses. So really the kind of key things to think about are kind of that kind of shared purpose and synergy that we touched on. So could you think about looking at businesses that maybe are aligned with your cause, and then thinking about asking them to consider giving in that way. So for example, Tommy's, the baby charity, they have a lot of support from businesses that are selling baby clothing, or businesses that are kind of owned by mums that might have experienced baby loss. So there's that kind of direct synergy. So I think thinking about that and then looking at ways to align yourselves with that business and that ask can be really valuable. But equally, just helping the business to understand that effectively every business is making a sale of some description. So there's an opportunity for them to give back within that. So hopefully some of those suggestions earlier help to kind of plant some seeds of ideas as to how you could maybe think about propositioning that to businesses of all different types, shapes and sizes as well.
Perfect, thank you, Lauren. Just having a read of another one here. Yes, so Lisa has asked in the chat, what is the advantage to business to support our charity, and how does Work for Good support them?
Good question. So there's lots of advantages to businesses to donating in this way, mostly because of, as we looked at with the business motivations and the reasons why they want to give, largely because it enables them to demonstrate to their customers and consumers what their values are. So what drives them as a business, what they stand for, and that helps them to set them apart from other businesses. So for example, if you were going to be buying one t-shirt from one company and you could buy exactly the same t-shirt from another company, but that company was donating a certain amount of that to charity, personally I would choose the one that was going to be donated back to charity. So there's definitely an advantage to the business in that sense, and the ability for them to really explain to their customers, consumers, who they are and what they're about. And it's also a really sustainable way for that business to fundraise. So for every sale they do make, there's a donation, whereas otherwise if they weren't relating their donation to sales, it might be that they wouldn't have the ability to donate in a kind of straightforward donation way. So there's definitely lots of advantages to businesses that can and should really be explored within those conversations. And I think don't be kind of shy about saying that you're aware that there's advantages, and actually this can be a really kind of mutually beneficial kind of supportership opportunity for you to explore. And in terms of kind of how Work for Good helps to support businesses, we have a business membership manager who looks after all of our wonderful businesses. Businesses also have access to a full toolkit of resources, so they're also supported with not only how to create their agreements, but also how to utilise their commercial participation statements so that they can publicise at the point of sale exactly how they're going to be fundraising and let all of their consumers know about the work that they're doing. So lots of support from our side, and lots of opportunities for businesses if they want to get involved.
Thank you, Lauren. I'm just having a look at a few more questions. We've got a minute or two. So Connell has asked, does Work for Good support the businesses in designing their CRM?
So yes and no, really, but like I said before, there's kind of lots of flexibility in terms of how the business might want to fundraise. We're absolutely on hand if the business says, wants to get some advice about how to set up their agreements, or is kind of not sure about how to kind of get started and whether that should be kind of percentage based, pound based, but fundamentally the decision really lies with the business. And actually I think there's real value to that, because the business owner knows their business inside out. They know what they're able to commit to, and they know how they'll be able to help transition that into a valuable donation for your charity. So we're absolutely on hand to help support those decisions, but yes, very much kind of it's the business that's kind of driving what works best for them, really.
Yeah, and as Laura mentioned before, we have our lovely colleague Rob, who does kind of solely look after all our business members. So he's on hand for any questions that do come through from the businesses in that instance. Yeah. One more here. Yeah, sorry, so a couple of people asking about whether we're working with the Big Give this year. Lauren, are you okay to explain?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we won't be partnering with the Big Give this year, and that's because we've kind of changed the sort of style of what we're offering this Christmas. So previously we've offered the Small Business Star match funding campaign, but we've actually taken on feedback from our members and listened to what you guys have wanted. And actually the feedback has been that there's lots of different campaigns that you guys are already doing yourselves, also lots of other opportunities, and specifically match funding opportunities such as the Big Give, which are brilliant at offering exactly that. So really the feedback that we've had is that actually it would be more valuable to offer some resources that you can embed into your existing campaigns that you're already putting on, rather than giving another campaign that kind of needs to be added into the mix as well. So we've really listened to our members and we've really tried to take that on board, and that's kind of where Give for Good has been born out of those feedback and those listings that we've taken on board.
Lovely, thank you. I think we've just got time for one more question. I think what might be useful just to share as well is we appreciate that, you know, visualizing these types of campaigns can be quite tricky sometimes, and so we would just kind of welcome you to go have a look at our Instagram, and also we've got fantastic blog content that we kind of help share that what our existing business members are doing with the charities of their choice, and it can be a real way to kind of just look at what other business and charities are doing together, and you know, see what you can adopt and what's relevant for your charity and the business you're speaking with. So yeah, please have a look at our blog. There's our sales fundraising stars that we article that we write every month, and we showcase 4 amazing businesses doing incredible work. And also, yeah, it's just a great way to just, yeah, as I said, look at what other people are doing. And that's kind of, I guess, one thing to pull out as well as a Work for Good member. You do, as you probably know, a lot of you, because you're here today, but you've seen in the newsletter that we share kind of useful information with you on a monthly basis. Lovely Lauren sends that out, and you know, it's a way just to make sure you're kind of seeing what other people are doing in the same space as you, and you know, you can feel less alone in this activity. If you are a sole or general fundraiser, that could be a nice thing to have to lean on. I just have one last question from Devin, and I think that might be all we have time for. Very close to the end. So Devin's just asking, how would we suggest to reactivate a business that was pledged 0 in the holiday season before? Good question, Devin.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think particularly when you're looking at lapsed supporters, I think try and look at how they supported in the past. So is it, for example, that they supported in a different way? Is it that sales fundraising could be offered as a new kind of concept and a different opportunity for them to explore? That can be really effective in terms of trying to transition. Maybe that might be gift in kind support or collection can support that you've previously had. So actually kind of offering this as a new and exciting opportunity that they could think about doing instead. I think if you've had supporters that have suggested that they might want to fundraise in this way before and they haven't actually been able to convert, really leaning on those benefits to the business. So actually kind of looking at this as a more kind of slightly more strategic opportunity for them to think about, and actually trying to position it as a mutually beneficial opportunity. So not just looking at it as, you know, the charity would like to benefit from the donation, but actually this is the benefits that it will have to the business. And like I said before, kind of not being afraid to say that, you know, it's really important for businesses to be able to stand out, leaning on some of those stats in terms of the fact that consumers want to be buying from businesses that are doing good and showing their value and their purpose. So there really is a lot of advantage to businesses, and I think for charities it's really important that we educate businesses around that so that they can make an informed decision, and hopefully to help inspire them to give in that way as well.
Well, thank you everyone for all your questions. I can see a few people are popping off now already. Yeah, I'll leave it for you to wrap up, Lauren.
Brilliant. Well, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for participating in the polls. Do head over to the Give for Good site and have a look at all of the resources and tips and templates that we've got there. And do let us know if we can help along the way. And we're always here, very happy to support. So thank you so much and have a lovely rest of your day.